Hello and welcome to Movies with My Dad, the podcast where I, film critic Tina Kakadelis, take my dad Stratus to the movies. This week, we saw MaXXXine, directed by Ty West and starring Mia Goth, Kevin Bacon, and Elizabeth Debicki. Join us on the car ride home. Do you think it's better if I hold it?
No, probably not. Why?
I see all the kids on the internet holding it.
Not a good reason.
Okay, well, okay. Should I apologize to you for not taking you to Kevin Costner?
So, this is yet another in a string of horror movies you've taken me to? 3 in a row, right?
3 in a row.
Why?
Why aren't you driving?
Okay, I'll put it in gear. Do you not love your father?
I do love you. This was a father-daughter movie.
You say that about every single horror movie
They've all
we've
been
seen.
Father-daughter movies.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
You trying to tell me something?
No. What's this movie called, Dad? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh. Oh, wait, MaXXXine.
There you go. MaXXXine Minx.
So, obviously I did not see any of the previous ones.
Correct.
Did it matter? Because
you tell me. Did it matter?
I don't think so, except maybe in some of those flashbacks.
Yes,
Is
the
that
flashback, like the stuff that
important?
they were flashing back to was she survived. She's the lone survivor of a murder.
Oh, well, I got that from the one line.
Well, there you go.
It didn't seem to impact the storyline.
It did not. You would be correct.
Okay.
This could have just been any other old movie.
I mean, of the 3 horrors you've taken me to...
What's the third?
Exorcist, this...
That's called The Exorcism.
Exorcism, sorry. This, and... What's the third? We went to something else. You don't remember?
Scream? Like last year?
No. This in a row.
In a row?
Yeah.
No? We saw The Bike Riders.
All right, it'll come to me.
I mean the one we watched at home?
No. We went out to some other movie.
No, we're going to see Longlegs next week.
No, I'm not going to see that.
Oh my God.
I'm out. You need to take me to something that is joyful and...
She became a star.
Joyful, epic, and a summer blockbuster.
She got to the top of the Hollywood sign. You ever been to the top of the Hollywood sign?
As a matter of fact, I have.
No, you haven't. You're not allowed to walk up there.
Okay.
So you haven't. So you're allowed.
You don't know what it was like in the 80s.
It was like that. I just watched it.
Okay, first off, the director and the writer of this, I'm assuming he's under 30.
I don't think so. It's a man. His name is Ty West.
Okay.
So Ty West wrote a movie called X, which is what they were flashing back to, where this group of people came together to shoot a porno on a Texas. That's what they kept talking about.
Right.
The porno in Texas. These 2 weird old people who were living in the house killed all of them because they were mad that they were young and having sex. And so they murdered everybody, but MaXXXine was the sole survivor. She always wanted to be a star. She ran away.
Same actress?
Same actress.
Okay.
But then
She's
also
really
played the old woman.
I thought she was really good.
In that one.
Oh, really?
And then they made Pearl, which was the backstory of the old woman from X. And Mia Goth, the lead, played her as well. So Mia Goth has been in all 3. And she wrote, or heavily produced Pearl and now MaXXXine.
Okay. Where I was going with that is, this person, who? Ty? Ty. I don't think he was alive in the 80s.
Why do you say that?
Because I feel like
someone who was alive in the 80s.
As someone who was alive in the 80s. This was supposed to be 85? We don't need to go into the things that I was doing in 1985.
Are you doing coke with your SAG card or no? I did love that.
But I feel like he watched a few too many documentaries of the 80s.
I don't think that man watched a documentary.
Too many grainy films from the 80s. And has made this imagination of what he thought the 80s were like. That just was over the top. It didn't feel very much 80s like.
I raise you, the 80s were over the top.
No, that's what...
Everyone's hair was that so high and over the top. Like the maximalism of the 80s. Did you like this movie?
So I'm somewhere in between. Out of all the questionable movies you've taken me to, this one was okay.
Oh.
Only because it wasn't obvious what was happening.
Oh, really? Okay, so I figured out who the killer was immediately.
Oh, that it was her dad?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that I knew.
Oh, okay.
But just every step along the way, it was something interesting was happening here, something interesting was happening there. It wasn't just
One might
like...
say an epic through Los Angeles.
No, let's not say that. I will give super credit to Ty. I already forgot his name.
Yes, Ty, the
Ty.
director.
Anyone that has the audacity to kill off Kevin Bacon midway through the movie gets my doff of the hat.
You're what?
I've never doffed my hat to anyone.
I've never heard of that expression.
Because you're young and you.
Because I didn't live through the 80s.
You didn't live through the 80s.
Okay, so Kevin Bacon was incredible.
He was amazing.
I've never loved a performance of his like I love that. He was I don't know what possessed that man, but he was incredible. And I would love now a spin-off of Kevin Bacon, the PI from Louisiana. Because he was stupendous.
He was.
And then getting squished in a compactor? A trash compactor?
I feel like there should be some spoiler alerts somewhere in this podcast.
I should probably start doing that. But to be fair, the main people who listen to this are people that we know will never watch this movie.
You mean our family?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I'm surprised, honestly, that you are not mad about it.
No, because I thought they did it well. It was a little slow at times, but I didn't feel like it was a one-trick pony. They kept amping it up a little more here, a little more there, and I was really curious, what is MaXXXine about? Because, for goodness sake, that thing she did to that guy that tried to attack her at the beginning, that was a bit much.
Well, I mean...
So at that point, she got my interest.
Okay. She didn't get your interest in the beginning when she went from 0 to crying without cutting?
I believe that's all actors.
Man, but I just love when they do that. I don't think all actors do that. I think you got some people...
I don't know if Kevin Bacon could do that.
Don't talk about my man.
No, you're right. All right, Kevin Bacon deserves it.
Are you going to watch the other ones now?
Do I need to?
You tell me. So I didn't like X, but I liked Pearl, which was like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre mixed with Wizard of Oz.
Maybe if I get to go see a Western or some big epic.
Okay, they had a Western showdown on a studio lot in this movie.
They did?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got a Western.
So, okay, what was that about? They played a lot of the... why did we go to the Bates Motel? I guess they were just playing off of early Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so...
It seemed a little overhanded.
You're just waving a hand over.
I am overhanding, yes, sorry.
Heavy-handed?
Heavy-handed, that's it.
It did irrationally bother me that they were just bopping around on the Warner Brothers set and then made a sharp left turn and all of a sudden we're on the Universal set.
I was going to ask you about that because I'm pretty sure...
The Bates is Universal.
In the 80s...
Oh,
I took the Universal tour.
This is what you didn't want to talk about when you were in the 80s? What were you doing in the 80s that you don't want to talk about? Taking a tour?
I'm not talking about that part.
Oh my God.
So that is Universal. That's what I thought. So they went from Warner Brothers backlot to Universal backlot.
And I believe the Western set is also Universal's.
And then half of the credits were New Zealand. So I'm not sure what New Zealand part was there.
So New Zealand... The reason that all these movies came about is X was shot in New Zealand. I told you this the other day, but I see we've forgotten.
Yes.
And then they had the mandatory 2-week quarantine.
Oh, yes.
And while that Ty and Mia Goth were talking about what they thought the backstory of the old woman was. So I believe Ty West is from New Zealand.
Okay.
So I think that's where that probably came
What was your take on the director? She was Lady Di.
Yes. I love Elizabeth Debicki. She's an incredible actor.
What's her last name?
Debicki.
Oh, I like that name.
Elizabeth
Sounds like
Debicki.
something out of Greece.
She could be Greek.
No, Greece. The
film?
Travolta, yes.
Oh my God.
Debicki sounds like one of the pink Cadillacs. What were they called?
The pink Cadillacs.
I don't know what they were called.
You think that the bad boys of the movie Grease were the pink Cadillacs?
No, the women.
The pink ladies?
Pink ladies. I was close. Hey, Debicki, come over here.
Oh my God, that was a really good accent. It's crazy that you weren't a star.
It is crazy, and I mean the cast was really good too, right?
I like Bobby.
Bobby Cannavale, And I don't know the woman.
She looked so familiar, and I know that I recognized her name when it came through, and it's escaping my brain now, but I can't look it up for you. So.
More spoilers. They all die.
Why would you expect?
I mean, the nice guy in the video store, he shouldn't have died.
He was gay.
What? So?
He had to die. That's why the dad was killing everybody. He was killing the women who were sex workers. He was killing the gay guy. The cops he just killed because they were ruining his exorcism movie.
And so he's a religious preacher who's against sin and is making a film documentary exposing Hollywood.
Yes.
And his entire production team is dressed in white robes. And at the moment there's trouble, they all pull out guns.
It was the 80s in LA. It was different. I don't know.
I think they were all Texans.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, so if I had to rank the three, I would rank it Pearl, then MaXXXine, then X. Because for this one, it just felt like there was a lot of really missed opportunities. I think it would have been really interesting to play with the dynamic of her dad being this televangelist preacher. Because, like, you see him very briefly at the end of X. And so I think it would have been interesting because I think that the whole televangelist preacher idea of, like, that was, like, with Tammy Faye and everybody. Like,
sure.
That is the era. This is the era of it. So he has that same obsession with fame and, like, notoriety that she has. But they're going about it in two very different ways. So I would have liked to, like, have that dichotomy more present than him just being, like, this little leather man walking around.
How is he a leather man?
Because he kept the close-ups of him wearing the leather.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And then he watched his daughter strip.
So he watched his daughter strip. I just realized that in the
no, I had thought about
show.
that early on. Yes.
At that point, I don't think I knew that's who it was.
As soon as they started off with, like, the grainy footage of her and her dad, I was like, well, the dad's playing a major role in this now. And then I figured it was him.
So, how does she get away with his murder?
Self-defense.
There was no self-defense. He was lying on the ground, already shot by the cop, and there's a helicopter over top watching. And then she pulls the trigger on the sawed-off shotgun and blows his head literally off into goo. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing we see, she's on TV.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the agent was like, look, I'm going to put some more people in this trash compactor, and then we'll sort it out. I liked a lot of it, and I loved the imagery, and I think you don't have the same, like, trilogy experience, but each movie is very specific and to its time, and I think that is...
What, they're not all in the 80s?
No. One of them is the 70s, so it's more of, like, slasher.
What, MaXXXine's not there in that one?
No, MaXXXine's there. We
in
already
the 70s?
went over this. Yeah.
Well, how could she...
She's 33.
Oh. Oh, that's right. She did say that. She did say that.
And she's what? The whole backstory is the movie of X. We just talked about the murder in Texas.
I was mostly awake through the movie.
Did you fall asleep?
No.
I didn't think so.
I didn't cry either, so that helps.
Well, what would you cry over?
I have no idea.
Because she became a star finally? But each movie has a very distinct look with the white transitions and, like, the split screens that he was doing here, and, like, it's very different.
I feel like it was trying too hard to use all those things from the 80s in some way, shape, or form.
Which...
I mean, they went out of their way, even when there was a moment when their refrigerator opened up, right? Mm-hmm. There's a can of Tab in there.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the drink of the 80s. But, I mean, that's just going a little too far.
So you don't want the set decorations to be period accurate?
But that's like they spent a lot of time thinking about that. Even to the point where they're driving through downtown LA and they've got the cigarette ads up on the billboards.
Dad, so what do you want then?
They worked really hard on that.
Yeah, but you were saying like a bad thing.
A little more story and a little more intrigue.
Well, that's two different things.
Well, no, I feel like they put their energy there.
Well, that's a different person's job.
It is a different person's job. That is true.
Yeah, so the set decorator is not like...
Kudos to
hey, I just got the Tab. Also, do we think that we should change the A story? Like, that's not the same person. The energy is not being wasted elsewhere. So,
all right. Fair enough.
Thank you. Okay, we're almost home. I want to rate it out of stars because she's a star.
No.
She's MaXXXine Minx. She's a star.
How'd she already get a star on Hollywood Boulevard and the movie hadn't even come out yet?
She's MaXXXine Minx. There's a really great...
Did the movie come out?
Okay, see, that also didn't make sense. When they were like, do you see that person?
I do see the person we're going to run into, yes.
Okay, great. That also didn't make sense when they, like, flashed between her
After
killing
the murder of her dad.
and then the premiere.
And then we go to a TV set and she's being interviewed. It implied to me that the movie was already out and now Maxine's a star. But then we see her back on the set filming it.
Right. It didn't make sense. No, I would agree.
Or was that like Puritans 3?
No, it was Puritan 2 because she was the housewife. That was the plot.
And that was the plot of Puritan 2, right? Although I love the little I guess gift they gave us of the suitcase falling down the stairs of Puritan 1 girl, her head coming out in the screen.
You call that a gift?
I mean, I felt like it was just like, here's a little fun thing in your horror film.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're mad about the can of Tab, but you're fine with this woman's decapitated head. You think that was good? Because
it was done really well.
Oh my god!
Although I did want the end credits when they had Maxine's head chopped, sitting nicely on the bed on the duvet. As the credits go over her face, I feel like she should have blinked at us. Not blinked, like winked at us.
Well, here, Dad, I got great news for you. The end credits of Pearl are just the same actress of Maxine crying and smiling scarily into the camera and blinking.
But was her head decapitated?
No, her head's still there.
No, see, that's the better part. If her head decapitated and then blinking.
Okay. For a man that doesn't like horror movies, you are advocating for more.
I don't know if this was a horror movie.
What would you call this? I would call this a slasher.
Okay.
Which is a horror movie. A slasher is a
Scream?
A subgenre. A Scream. You don't remember the Scream movie?
No. Weren't they calling it a screamer in the movie?
No.
No. I make up stuff as we're watching. What do you want from me? I get a little bored partway through, and
So you're like, what if we just called it a screamer? Hey, Elizabeth Debicki, director, I've got some notes for you.
I'm writing the next sequel.
Okay, great. You can do Maxine in the 90s. Okay, so you don't want to do it out of stars. What do you want to do it on? Decapitated heads?
How about just dead friends?
That's terrible.
Or how many crushed Kevin Bacons?
Oh, Kevin. I'd like a 2.5, 3 for me.
I was going 2.5. I mean, I was entertained enough, but I'm going to have to leave some headroom in my rating system.
Was that on purpose?
Well, just for things in the future. So I think it has to be a 2.
No, I mean headroom after you're talking about
that is a good... all right, how many head? Severed heads, okay. No, I'm going to go with 2.
And why? What is your reasoning? Because you want other movies to be rated higher?
Yeah, I mean, I want to leave room in the ratings for something I really like or like more. This was okay. I'll give it okay.
That is shocking.
And there were times when I thought it was fun. And again, Kevin Bacon, without him, I don't know I would have given it a 2.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. So you will go see Longlegs next week?
No, probably it's not funny.
No, I
there were some honest to goodness chuckles in this movie. You laughed at some line they gave.
I laughed when the policewoman fell down the hill. That's not the same thing. Okay, say goodbye, Father.
All right, so I'm going to say goodbye, but then we're going to stop, and then I'm going to think about what the other movie we saw. There's another horror movie you made me see, and then we'll come back. Or we'll just go straight into the next one.
Goodbye,
Tina.
I'll just keep it running if you want to think.
No.
That's it for this week's episode of Movies with My Dad. You can find all of our episodes online at movieswithmydad.com. You can also send us an email at movieswithmydadpod@gmail.com. My dad is desperate to hear from you. You can find me, Tina, on Twitter at Captain Ameripug or Letterboxd at Tina KAKADELIS.DOCX. You can find my dad at our local Home Depot. Tune in next week when we head back to the movies.